just want to welcome everyone into the chamber. Before we begin our council caucus, I don't see Superintendent Michael Robinson here yet, but we do have a guest that I want to call to the podium to address council, Mr. Blaine from Jewish Life, Akron.
Good afternoon, Madam President and members of council. Thank you so much for inviting me here today to address the council on behalf of Jewish Akron, which is really the Jewish community of Akron. And we've come through what's been probably the 8 or 9 hardest days, certainly in my lifetime. And in fact, when you look at the damage that was done to Israel and to the people of Israel on October 7th, I think it's safe to say really any time since the Holocaust, which ended in 1945. So we are all shaken, but it's a time also where Israel has come together to recognize that they cannot live with having people next door who want to see them removed. And Hamas has always been clear in its writing and in its statements that their objective is to have a land from the river, meaning the Jordan River, to the Mediterranean Sea. So there's not interest in negotiating in two-state solutions and land for peace. So it's a very, very difficult time, and I'm afraid it's just the start, and we don't know what's going to happen over the next few weeks, but Israel is determined to eradicate Hamas. It's a time where having friends is vital to the Jewish community, and we've been really have felt good about the outreach that we've had from elected officials. We had a community gathering last Tuesday evening, and Eileen Shapiro was there on behalf of the county and spoke. We had a solidarity march and a unity concert yesterday, and again we had nice representation, and also from the religious community, from the business community. Our sense is that Akron really gets it, and it's extremely comforting at a difficult time to know that we have friends who understand. So on behalf of Jewish Akron, just wanted to thank you for giving this your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Blaine. Thank you for being here today. Any questions from members of council?
I wanted to offer my personal thanks for all that you did last Tuesday. Councilman Schmidt and I were there, and it was an exceptional opportunity to really understand what individuals are going through over in Israel, and the shock and horror that they're going through. It's kind of a double scenario for myself personally. I have family in the Ukraine right now, 2 cousins that are doctors that stayed behind to help the injured, and we've not heard from them now in over 2 months. So I can understand that concern. My nephew married a beautiful young Jewish girl from New Jersey. We got to meet her and her family, and her nephew is now one of those called up. He's 23 years old. I got to meet him in New Jersey last summer when they were married. And here was a young man who had his whole life ahead of him. And you multiply that by all of those individuals over there going through what they're going through now. Their lives have been uprooted probably for the rest of their lives. And the only thing that I would ask everybody in this room, anybody that's walking around with a beating heart, is to pray for peace. Yeah. That's what we need. The blame game obviously is in full swing. That's going to go on for quite some time. But what the families need, what those individuals who have sent their sons and daughters off to protect their country need, is all of us to just remember them and wish them all the peace in their lives. So thank you for everything that Jewish Akron is doing. And if there's anything that I personally can do to help, I stand with you. I know my colleagues here on this dais do as well. So,
thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Wilhite. Any other comments or questions from members of council? Thank you again, Mr. Blaine, for being here today. We appreciate it. So tonight we have 17 first reads, 5 motions, 4 first. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I'm going to back it up. Hi. So we have today in our midst today, we're so lucky to have the new superintendent of Akron Public School, Mr. Michael Robinson, and he will come now and address council.
Good afternoon to everyone. I was told to come and introduce myself, so I wanted to make sure I did that. I'm parked in the wrong place, so good thing I could run. I still can run, so I'm parked actually in the university's parking lot because I didn't read. Reading is fundamental, right? So, thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to come and introduce myself to you guys and to let you know that I appreciate so many of you that have reached out and have welcomed me to the city of Akron and to Ohio. It has been very pleasurable being here. I absolutely love the big little city that we have. It gives me a big city feel, but still intimate and small enough where you really get to know people, and I love being able to get where I need to get in 15 minutes. So that helps. But I want to just simply let each of you know that we want to be partners with you in the work that we're going to be doing in Akron Public Schools. It's very important that we're able to make those connections. Thank you to Ms. Sims, who I've had the opportunity to interface and interact with on different occasions. It's important for you to know, as for me as a superintendent, that I want to work with our city and our council people. I will be asking you to visit your council meetings. As some of the work that we're doing, I'd like to be able to get out into the community and then more depthly talk about some of that work that we have coming up, such as our strategic plan that I invite each of you next week. The dates will be going out. It'll be on our website where you will be able to come and engage, if you would like to, with us around our Blueprint for Excellence, our strategic plan. So I just wanted to thank you again for the opportunity to be here. And thank you for so many of you for welcoming me to the city. And if there's anything that I can do, please let me know.
Thank you, Dr. Robinson.
Thank you.
And of course, it's always good to see everywhere I am, you are. So
Yeah.
I can see you really getting in there and getting your feet wet, so I really appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions or thoughts from members of council? Hearing none, we welcome you.
Thank you.
And send that ticket to...
Now I'm going to go get my car before before I have to ask for a favor.
Thank you.
Thank you all
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you. Good evening.
Again, we have 17 first reads tonight. We have 5 motions. We have 5 first read passages, one being a late filing. First up, we have M045 2023, just our Information and Technology Advisory Board. I don't believe there's anyone here for that other than Mr. Hi there, sir. M046 2023, Facility Governing Board. We don't have anyone here for that. 2023-047 2023, our appointments to Adam Board. I think all 3 of those appointments are here today. And so we have Mr. Henry Johnson Jr., Crystal Burnett, and Miss Janine Marks. So if you guys want to come up to the podium and introduce yourself, that would be great.
Good afternoon. I'm Crystal Burnett. Some of you I know, going back quite a ways, but for those of you I don't, I am former Summit County magistrate for many years, and I'm now working as an associate general counsel at Kent State. As a probate court magistrate for several years, I had the opportunity to do a lot of work in the mental health space and understand what it is that ADM board does for our community. and the challenges that we have and that ADM board has been able to and continues to help the community meet. So it'd be an honor for me to be appointed to the ADM board. In my, I don't know if any of you have any questions for me.
Thank you, Ms. Burnett. We think you'll be an excellent addition to the board. Thank you so much. Any questions or comments from members of council? Hearing none?
Thank you very much.
Mr. Johnson?
Good afternoon, Henry Johnson Jr., 46-year resident of Summit County. I used to manage grocery stores for Acme Fresh Market for 23 years, saw some of the mental health needs of some of our residents and just took a passion to it. And now I'm working at Leadership Akron, and I get to dive into the work even further. So when this opportunity came, I feel honored to be up here and up for appointment.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from members of council? Hearing none, I too think you will be a wonderful addition to ADM board too, Mr. Henry. Hello, Ms. Janine.
Hello. Thank you for allowing me to come and introduce myself. I'm from this area. I've lived here all my life, and I'm recently retired and was looking for one thing to become involved with. So it is close to my heart to see all the work that the ADM board does, and if there's anything I can help with within that board with our community. And I've been involved in a few things in the community. I was just recently retired from Stewart's Caring Place, where I was the CEO for 10 years, and I'm on the Marathon board, which my husband and I started 21 years ago, and other various things. So I'm glad to be here to introduce myself and be part of that board.
Thank you, Ms. Marks, for your willingness to serve, and I believe you will be an excellent addition to the board as well. Any questions from members of council? Comments? Mr. Wilhite?
I just want to comment, when Janine says she's retired, she's not retired. And that's a great thing for this community. You and Steve have been unbelievable to this community. You've given us one of the nation's best marathons. It's helped countless charities. That is just above the pale. And your work with Stewart's Caring Place, as someone who runs a nonprofit, I know how challenging that is. And you've given this community yet another extraordinary gift in Stewart's Caring Place. So thank you for that, and thank you for your willingness to assist on the ADM board. You're a spectacular individual. And to the other two joining the board, thank you for serving. I know about your backgrounds, and man, is it exciting when we can get great people like you helping in this community. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Marks. Any?
Mrs. Marks, I just want to say thank you for your work with Stewart's Caring Place, and I know that you personally gave me a tour at one time, so, and I'm just so impressed with the work, and these are three great members to be a part of the ADM board. I was just curious how many members there are with the ADM Services Board, if anybody knows.
I can send you the board makeup. I believe it's 11, I think, at this point, but there was a change in the state budget. The executive will have an additional appointment next year as well, so the board will change it once again. Thank you. Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. 2023-302, we have Ms. Heidi Swindell to address council.
Hello, Heidi Swindell's Summit County Engineer's Office. This is a construction project, one of our first stormwater projects that we're actually moving into construction. We've been working on this one in design for quite some time. We had applied for a FEMA grant because there's quite a bit of erosion in that Y Road area in Bath, around the sanctuary of Bath development. And so this project, it's going to be in 2 phases. We'll improve the stormwater management basins, and we'll improve the storm sewers. And then to prevent erosion, we're going to add some swales in that area. FEMA is paying for 90% of this project. One of the residents in Sanctuary of Bath, we have agreed to get work in phase 1 substantially complete by the end of the year. So he will drop his lawsuit. So that is why we're asking for first reading passage.
Thank you, Ms. Swindell. Any questions from members of council? Hearing none? Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Thank you.
2023-303, we have Mr. Phil Montgomery to address council.
Thank you, Madam President. Phil Montgomery from the Executive's Department of Finance and Budget. We have this cycle's appropriation exhibit before council. The first item is appropriating $2.5 million in additional funds to meet the needs for indigent defense. So those will be reimbursed to the county. I think we're still hovering between the 80 and 90% reimbursement rate, so we're holding strong there. But the appropriation that we did earlier in this year has run out, so we need to put some more funds in that organization code. The next one, $2.6 million, is a transfer out of the general fund over to the Special Capital Project Fund. This is specifically for the Consolidated Dispatch Center out in Talmadge to meet the final expenditures for that build out. The next one is appropriating funds to the Board of Elections Revenue Fund. So this is to use up funds that were reimbursed by the state for the August election and the upcoming general election. Page 2, we have an additional appropriation. This is part of that $2.6 million. This is another change order out at the dispatch center, so that's included in that amount that we're transferring over. The next one is change order number 5 to North Electric for the Department of Administrative Services for information technology. As you can imagine, with the implementation of our new ERP system, court case management, and all of those things, the OIT budget wasn't necessarily sufficient for some of those new expenditures, so we need to appropriate the additional $650,000. You can see some of those projects we listed in the description. The last one on that page, the foreign trade zone, this is to appropriate funds. The cash is there. We don't normally put this in our annual operating budget, so in order for community and economic development to make some expenditures on that, we need to appropriate those funds. You'll see a bunch of grants for the Common Police Court, both the juvenile, the first one on here, the juvenile division. This is an additional $325,000 for the juvenile court, and this is primarily due to the overtime for the detention home that's needed right now, so we're adding some funds there. Now the next bunch are new grants for the Common Police Court General Division, so you'll see that on the next page and a half. On the bottom of the next page is a new grant for the sheriff, and then flipping over, we have some additional grants for the sheriff, and then on the last page, we have the remainder of the grants for the sheriff. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Montgomery. Any questions from members of council? Hearing none. Thank you. No, who was, he's not here. Is it John?
Who's the vice chair?
Of course.
Nope.
Mr. Wilhite should be the vice chair of finance.
So you good with that? Thank you. 2023-304, Mr. Brian Harnack to address council.
Madam President, I'm going to take that one.
Okay, Mr. Harnack.
So Phil Montgomery for the Executive Department of Finance and Budget. So this resolution is needed because Brinks performs our armored car services and picks up our cash at various county locations. And they had introduced a rate increase that I believe we brought to council to talk, because we did recently bid out this service, and it's because Brinks drastically increased their fees for this service, and we put the bid out there and got 0, including Brinks, to bid on that. So we need to appropriate some additional funds for this contract to not only catch it up, but to extend it until we can find another armor card service. So that's the need for first reading passage. We need them to continue to collect money.
Thank you, Mr. Montgomery. Any questions from members of council? Hearing none. Are you good with that, Councilman Wilhite? Thank you. I'm sorry, Councilman Schmidt. Are you good with 2023-302? Thank you. 2023-305, Stephen Bryan will address council.
Good evening, Stephen Byrne, Office of Information Technology. So this is the purchase of, as the description is, 24 time clocks. So as we make our change from our old ERP system into our new, we have to have compatible time clocks, and this is essentially what this replaces for us.
Any questions from members of council? So 25 clocks. So where does 25 clocks go?
So, yeah, so 24, we're going to have 2 to test, and then we have various locations throughout the county. I know HR and our consultant went through all the buildings, and we kind of consolidated down. We used to have 36. We've talked to a couple agencies to start to make sure they're using the digital, being able to log in through your computer, but those that still need it, we're putting at those locations.
Thank you. When I looked at it, I was like, why do they need 25 clocks? But just
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah, they're spread out through all the,
Okay,
yeah.
thank
yes.
you.
Yep.
Any questions from members of council? Hearing none, are you good with that, Councilman Wheeler? Thank you. Thanks. We have one late filing, 2023-319. We've already heard from Mr. Blaine. Did you have any other comments you wanted to add, Mr. Councilman Schmidt? Nope. Hearing none. We have 17 first reads. We have 5 motions. Oh, we're going to let them go first. You have to keep pulling my coattail. Thank you. So we have a couple of folks that want to address council. First, we have Mr. Pasolette to address council.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Before I just give my brief comments, 3 minutes for a preacher is kind of difficult, Council President. Before I begin there, I would like to say that we, as Christian believers, are praying also, Mr. Blaine, for the peace of Jerusalem. That's what our word teaches us. We pray for your peace, your blessings, and our blessings and prosperity. And as a woman of color, and as a woman of color, we know what it means to have a race of people annihilated through injustice. And we pray for peace, world peace. The resolutions that I would like to speak with you on this evening are Resolution 2023-311. And in this declaration of November 25th, 23 as Small Business Saturday in Summit County, I ask that you would please research and make sure that the small businesses are inclusive of people of color. The small businesses are inclusive of women who own businesses. The small businesses are inclusive of resources needed to maintain the businesses so the businesses are not closed, and that the small businesses be inclusive of all the communities and with healthy and resourceful entities for the people in each community. For 2023-318, as you produce these interpreters, I'm asking that you would also begin the process to restore German back into our language here in the United States of America, including the umlaut. That was one of the original languages here in this country. And I would like to see it restored back into not only interpretation, but back into our school system and in other processes, as well as the Aramaic and the Hebrew in our school system and interpretations. Thank you so much for your time this evening, and it's always good to see you all. And I pray that everyone has voted or is voting. People have lived, died, and lost lives for our right to vote. And let's encourage people to read and vote. Have a blessed evening.
Thank you, Ms. Pasolette.
Thank you.
Next to address council is Ms. Denise Wood.
President Sims, council members, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today to express my appreciation for the unanimous passage on September 25th of the resolution declaring the County of Summit a Power a Clean Future Ohio community and pledging to reduce Summit County's carbon emissions. As I'm sure you all know, this year has held the record for the hottest July ever recorded, the hottest August ever recorded in the Northern Hemisphere, and the hottest September on record. We have no time to lose. I look forward to hearing the plans to meet your pledge. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Woods. Okay, we'll start again. We have 17 first reads. We have 5 motions before us tonight, 5 first read passages, 1 being a late filing. Routine legislation on page 6 through 8. There are no second or third readings. We'll now rise to the pledge led by Councilman DeVitas, followed by a moment of silence. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Schmidt?
Here.
Ms. Hyam?
Here.
Mr. Donofrio? Mr. DeVitas? Ms. Dickinson? Ms. Sims?
Here.
Mr. Wilhite?
Here.
Mrs. Darrow?
Here.
Mrs. Rogers? Ms. McKinney?
Here.
Ms. Walters?
Here. Could I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes of September 25th?
So moved.
Have a motion to approve the September 25th, 2023 meeting minutes. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Motions for council. M045, 2023. A motion of council confirming the reappointment of Stephen Byrne, Chad Fowler, Joe Clark, and Dave Gordon to the Information Technology Advisory Committee.
Councilman Liz Walters has moved to approve motion M045. What in the world is going on? M045, 2023. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
M046, 2023. A motion of council confirming the reappointment of Amber Zibratoski to the Facility Governing Board.
I have a motion to approve M046, 2023. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
M047, 2023. A motion of council confirming the appointment of Henry Johnson Jr., replacing John Williams, Crystal Burnett, replacing Elizabeth England, and Janine Marks, replacing Rula Brady, to the Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Services Board.
So move.
I have a motion to approve M0472, 2023. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
M048, 2023. A motion of council confirming the appointment of Holly Brugge as an alternate to Lisa Kimlowski and Dr. Danielle Maholtz as second alternate to Dr. Susan Nofziger to the Child Fatality Review Board.
I have a motion to approve M048, 2023. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
M049, 2023. A motion of council approving a travel expenditure for Councilmember Gloria Rogers in the amount of $94.98 for her scheduled attendance at the Ohio Jail Advisory Board meeting on October 19, 2023, from 12:30 p.m. until 2:45 p.m. at North Central State College, 175 Mansfield Avenue, Shelby, Ohio, 44875.
I have a motion to approve M049, 2023. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
First readings, 2023-302, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a construction contract with Cook Paving and Construction Company, Incorporated, for completion of the Y Road Flood Mitigation and Improvement Project, Phase 1A, located in Bath Township in Council District 4, in an amount not to exceed $183,332.50 for the engineer. Emergency.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-302.
I have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-302. On the suspension, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And on the adoption, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
2023-303, a resolution appropriating funds in order to meet projected expenditures for the balance of 2023, as set forth in Exhibit A for the Executive's Department of Finance and Budget. Emergency.
Madam Chair, I move to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-303.
I have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-303. On the suspension, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And on the adoption, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
2023-304, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute change order number 1 to a purchase contract with Brinks, Inc. to provide additional countywide armored car services in an amount not to exceed $50,000, including additional services performed during the July 1st, 2022, June 30th, 2023 contract term, exceeding the original amount for a cumulative increase of 100%, for a period of up to 1 year, until bidders are found and a new contract awarded, for a total amount not to exceed $100,000 for the Executive Department of Budget and Finance, emergency.
Madam Chair, I move to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-304.
Have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-304. On the suspension, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
2023-305.
On the adoption, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
2023-305, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a purchase contract with Tyler Technologies Incorporated as a best practical source for the purchase of 24 time clocks in an amount not to exceed $57,960 for the Office of Information Technology, emergency.
Madam Chair, I move to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-305.
Have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-305. On the suspension, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And on the adoption, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
2023-306, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a purchase contract with Universe Corporation at Sourcewell Pricing for uniform services for a 5-year term in an amount not to exceed $310,561.30 for the Executive Department of Administrative Services, Physical Plants, and Department of Sanitary Sewer Services, emergency. 2023-307, a resolution authorizing the executive to enter into a cooperative agreement with the City of Barberton to improve Wooster Road West, located in the City of Barberton in Council District 7, in an amount not to exceed $250,000 in county funds for the executive and engineer, emergency. 2023-308, a resolution authorizing the executive to enter into a local public agency agreement with the State of Ohio through the Department of Transportation for Boston Township's Hines Hill Road resurfacing project located in Boston Township in Council District 1 at a cost not to exceed $80,000, with no local funds required for the executive and engineer, emergency. 2023-309, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute a grant agreement with Bounce Innovation Hub to provide local matching funds to the Economic Adjustment Assistance Project grant provided by the U.S. Economic Development Administration for renovation of the second floor of 526 South Main Street, located in the City of Akron in Council District 5, in an amount not to exceed $350,000 for the Executive Department of Community and Economic Development, emergency. 2023-310, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a purchase contract with Environmental Systems Research Institute, Incorporated, ESRI, as a sole source for software maintenance, including technical support and software upgrades for ArcGIS for a 1-year term from 10/31/2023 through October 30th, 2023, in an amount not to exceed $78,084.32 for the Executive Department of Community and Economic Development and the Office of Information Technology, emergency. 2023-311, a resolution declaring November 25th, 2023 as Small Business Saturday in Summit County, encouraging the residents of Summit County to support our small businesses for the Executive and Council, emergency. 2023-312, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a construction contract with Thompson Electric Incorporated for the Summit County Jail Storage Building Electric Service Project in an amount not to exceed $72,875 for the Executive Department of Administrative Services Physical Plants, emergency. 2023-313, a resolution authorizing various service rates to be charged by the sheriff and authorizing the executive to execute contracts for the sheriff for said services for calendar years 2024, 2025, and 2026 for the executive and sheriff, emergency. 2023-314, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a professional service contract with Keith Commissary Network, LLC, to operate the jail inmate commissary located at 205 East Crozier Street, Akron, Ohio, 44311, in Council District 4, for a one-year term from November 15, 2023 through November 14, 2024, with 5 one-year options to renew, with a commission rate of 38% to be paid to the county for the sheriff and declaring an emergency. 2023-315, a resolution authorizing the Court of Common Pleas General Division to make additional expenditures in an amount not to exceed $10,000 for a total amount not to exceed $20,000 for hospitality items incurred in providing training, planning, and meetings to be held in 2023 for the Court of Common Pleas General Division, emergency. 2023-316, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a renewal, second of 4, of a purchase contract with Aramark Correctional Services, LLC, for food services at the jail for a one-year term from December 1st, 2023 through November 30th, 2024, in an amount not to exceed $975,000 for the executive and the sheriff, emergency. 2023-317, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute a subaward agreement with Direction Home Akron-Canton Area Agency on Aging and Disabilities to provide additional services to Summit County residents and launch 2 pilot programs to assist older adults with aging in place from October 1st, 2023 through September 30th, 2024, in a total amount not to exceed $4 million for the executive, emergency. 2023-318, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute a renewal, 4th and final, of a master services agreement with Ethostif Services, LLC, to act as a broker for translation and interpreter services for non-English speaking clients for the period of January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, and confirming the award of a professional service contract with Effective Services, LLC, for translation and interpreter services for non-English speaking clients for the period of January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, in an amount not to exceed $150,000 for the Executive's Department of Job and Family Services, emergency.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Dickinson to add 2023-3119 as a late filing. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
2023-319, a resolution expressing resolute support for the State of Israel and its citizens and condemning in the strongest terms the recent barbaric attacks against the nation and encouraging the United States and its partners to continue to provide broad assistance to Israel for counsel, emergency. Whereas Israel is the strongest ally to the United States in the Middle East, and the safety and security of Israel is of great importance to the stability of the region. And whereas the United States and Israel share a 75-year partnership built on mutual interest and shared democratic values. And whereas Ohio and Summit County are home to many of Jewish faith, and countless residents support the people and nation of Israel. And whereas on October 7, 2023, Hamas extremists carried out heinous and despicable acts of violence against Israelite citizens in their homeland, resulting in the death of thousands, including many citizens of the United States. And whereas the United States and its allies must continue to fully commit to Israel's security and stand ready to assist Israel with diplomatic and intelligence support. And whereas this council finds and determines, after reviewing all pertinent information, that it is in the best interest of this county to strongly condemn the barbaric attacks against the nation of Israel. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the County of Summit, State of Ohio, that Section 1, this council expresses resolute support for the State of Israel and its citizens and condemns in the strongest terms the recent attacks against the nation and encourages the United States and its partners to continue to provide broad assistance to Israel. Section 2, the Clerk of Council is hereby directed to forward a copy of this resolution to President Joe Biden, U.S. Senators Sherrod Brown and J.D. Vance, and U.S. Congresswoman Amelia Sykes. Section 3, this resolution is hereby declared an emergency in the interest of the health, safety, and welfare of the residents of County of Summit, and for the further purpose of immediately expressing resolute support for the State of Israel. Section 4, provided this resolution receive the affirmative vote of 8 members, it shall take effect immediately upon its adoption and approval by the executive. Otherwise, it shall take effect and be enforced at the earliest time provided by law. And Section 5, it is found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Madam President, there is no room for anti-Semitism in Summit County. There is no room for hate in Summit County. I move to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-319, Madam President.
Madam President, may I go on as a sponsor?
I would like
Council as a whole. John?
Yeah.
I think I have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-319. On the suspension, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And on the adoption, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules and adopt the routine legislation found on pages 6 through 8.
I have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt the routine legislation found on page 6 through 8. On the suspension, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And on the, any opposed? And on the adoption, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. If there's nothing else to come before the council meeting, the council is adjourned. I think it's budget hearing.
Can we have a copy of that resolution, Mr. Blankenham?
Great. At this time, we'll open up the budget hearings for finance, and Mr. Montgomery is going to start us off. So, Phil?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I wanted to just take a moment to briefly update council as to where we stand. I do apologize for getting today's rounds out super late. We're working through a couple of glitches in our publishing software that's used to create the new budget book, but this is the new budget book out of Munis. And so going forward, I'll hope to have these budget books out by Friday at the latest, so you have the weekend to go over them. But this is the new version of the book, and we will, as we wrap up reviewing the budget submissions by departments, it's as traditional, it's going to be a couple of weeks before we have a full book for council, but we will have the individual sections each Monday for the budget hearings. I do want to point out, when you look at the dollar chart that shows the budget breakout by the object codes, you will see that there is the 24 entity request, and the 24 proposed is all zeros. That is one of the glitches we're working out. Those numbers will be populated, but on these 4 versions, they are the same exact dollar amount. So the entity request and the proposed are the same amount. So it's just not translated over yet. But the final version of this will be updated when council gets the book. And as soon as that glitch is worked out, I'll send out new sections to council. But I just wanted to throw that out there as we start the conversation today with the 4 agencies and departments and offices that are here. And with that, Mr. Chair, I'll turn it back over to you.
Great, thank you, Phil. The 4 agencies tonight are Human Resource Commission, Veteran Service Commission, Internal Audit, and Clerk of Courts. We'll start with the Human Resource Commission. Janice Corbin, if you would, come on up.
Janice Corbin with the Human Resource Commission. We are submitting our budget as it was proposed to us. We have not made any changes, as in the last several years, no changes from the previous year. Again.
Any
Probably
questions?
the smallest budget.
Any questions for Janice, members of the council? Okay, great. That was easy. Thank you, Janice. Next up, Veteran Service Commission, Mr. Larry Moore.
Good evening, Council. Larry Moore, Veteran Service Commission. Give you a little bit of a rundown on our operation and what we've been doing in this past year. We get from the Department of Veterans Affairs what we call the geographical expenditure of funds to all the states, and that states are then broke down by county. So all of the money, this is looking back 12 months, so this is 2022 numbers for Summit County. As far as the veterans population, we're presently at 30,454. Total expenditures for the VA in this county is $280,376,000. Compensation and pension is $138,224,000. The compensation and pension is the bread and butter of what we do as certified veteran service officers. We file on behalf of those families and those veterans and their dependents for those claims for compensation for injuries or illnesses incurred while on active duty, or pensions for those who have low income. Out of that, I conservatively figure that we were responsible for 30% of that. So for compensation and pension, out of that $138 million, we're responsible for $41,467,200. Also, we have education, vocational, and rehabilitation employment training. Under that, a veteran who is service-connected for 20% or better can go back to college or tech school, 24 months books and tuition paid for. They can't get to that unless we filed a claim on behalf for them to begin with. So I estimate out of that $850 million, $2,355 million we're responsible for at the Veterans Service Commission, which gives us a total last year $43,822,200. Interesting enough, too, they also follow those veterans in this county who get veterans health care. That could be either here at Akron-Seebach, Canton, Parma-Seebach, or up at the Lewis Stokes Medical Center in Cleveland. Out of that, used those services last year were 10,557. Interesting enough, that's better than 1/3 of the total population in Summit County use VA health care. So to keep that in mind. For a rundown in September, this past month, I'll give you a little background. We're getting busier. Ever since COVID, we've been slowly picking back up, and we're getting back to where we were originally in 2019. The average age of the veteran coming in September was 60. We saw 602 males, 61 females. Transportation, again, we're transporting to Akron-Seebach, Parma, Cleveland, and right till now, and it's not the end of the year yet, we've transported 1,081 to VA healthcare. Again, especially when you're talking about the Cleveland VA Medical Center, the Akron-Seebach clinic we call here would take care of your fundamental health care. Those that we transport are going up to see specialists. They're going to see oncologists, basically anything like that has to do radiation, chemo treatments. 10% of them usually are getting some kind of major surgery. Could be open heart, which they could do there or do at Cleveland Clinic. Again, those folks are low to medium income. If they didn't get that transportation and get transported up to Cleveland to get that health care paid by federal dollars, they'd have to do it here at Summit or Samaritan or like that. That would be falling on the taxpayers of this county to have to cover that because they wouldn't be able to afford some of those surgeries, as you all know how expensive open heart surgery is. This month alone, in September, as far as those who came in for financial assistance, we answered 334 different questions on financial assistance. We filed and assisted 47 veterans or their dependents in September. We saw or heard, got called by 1,125 veterans in information as far as VA health care and enrolling in compensation pension comes along. Out of those 222, we did file a claim to the Department of Veterans Affairs. And as I said, kind of where we can see where we're starting to increase our numbers, I track and have for going on 13 years now. We answer the question the first time that somebody comes in the office as a new client, how did you hear about us, whether it's through the media, billboards, or whatever, so we can get an idea where we're at with that. But in 2019, before COVID, new clients alone in that year, we saw 822. In 2020, when COVID hit, we saw 390. Now in 2021, we saw 548. And now in 2022, 738. And right now, year to date, we've got 623. So those numbers are moving. And it's one reason we had to hire some more staff because we're getting busier and seeing on average 50 clients a day coming in the office. So with that concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Larry. Any questions for Larry?
Just out of curiosity, are you guys planning to a new campaign or something? I just kind of noticed that the advertising.
Alliance, yeah, we've gone contract. It's been very difficult. All 80 counties trying different kinds of marketing and advertisement to get the word out. We're there and we're there to take care of the veterans in the counties. It's something we discuss at state meetings all the time. So we're giving this Alliance outfit their first shot at it. This year, they're doing all of our media. They're doing commercials for us for TV and whatnot. We're watching it it's kind of expensive, to tell you the truth. That's the way we saw it, but we're going to give it a try and see if we can get some more veterans in, because obviously as we do, when we get that compensation and pension we filed for, what that amounts to is that's a monthly check coming into the families here in Summit County and the veterans, which they go out and spend on goods and services for, sales tax, gas tax, and it generates income in this county. So the more people we can get in, the more comp and pension we're going to generate. That's going to generate more income for this county.
So it's not thematic, it's more use of social media and different platforms.
Social media, we use Twitter, Facebook. Commercials, you'll see commercials. With sports venues for ESPN, you'll see commercials for Ohio State football, the Browns. Now coming into basketball season, you'll see commercials there and little blips. And we also, if you ever see some of these, now around town, we have these great big LED billboards. So they take care of that and put all that, to arrange all that kind of stuff for us to put out there and advertise. That answer your question?
Yes, sir. It did.
Thank you.
Larry, do the branches of the military educate our veterans as they're leaving the service, or in any ongoing way what's available to them service-wise? I've heard stories of people not knowing what they had available to them.
Well, that's very true. That's called the TAP program. That's Transition Assistance Program. The VA's been dumping money into that for 20 years and 30 years. In fact, the system is just really poor. And I've been I was just in Washington D.C. with legislation here in September, complaining about that again because it's not getting the information out. What we would like to see, and that's the Ohio State Association of Veteran Service Commissions, and we've talked to the Department of Defense several times now, is most of these young men and women coming back, their home of record is probably going to change. There's probably not going to be with mom and dad, but the one thing that won't change probably is their personal email. We've asked them, would they add that to the discharge remarks section? There's an area, there's plenty of space in there they could add to that discharge. Well, that discharge gets sent back to home of record. In other words, it would go to the Ohio Department of Veteran Services here in Columbus, and if that email address was there, then they would feed that out to the 88 counties, and then we could go, welcome home, we're glad to see you're home. Whenever you get time, come down and see us. Because I took 2 veterans, an Iraq and an Afghan veteran, with me 2 years ago, and on that very subject. And when a couple of the folks questioned us about, well, they thought it was great, and the system's working. I said, no. I said, ask these 2 young men how they found out how to get help. One guy says, I didn't learn nothing from TAP. They showed me some videos. Didn't help me at all until I was walking around and I found another veteran who helped me out when I got back home. He says, but it didn't do squat. In 2012, I went to the Capitol on behalf of Senator Brown and testified in regards to TAP and how poor it was then. It's not changed much.
Gloria?
Do you have a possibility, Larry, of knowing how many veterans are in our county? Is that possible? Of that amount of veterans, what's the percentage that actually are receiving services? Is that a stat that you might have? Or is
Yeah. Out of that 30,054, 10,557 are getting health care through the VA. Now, that's unique to that because they track where the veteran's resident is. So even though he went maybe to Cleveland VA Medical Center to get surgery or whatever he got, that's calculated as services to this county. And that's with those total expenditures they do every year, that's included in.
So we have about 30,000 veterans in the county and about 10,000 receiving some form of service.
Correct. So about 1/3.
How many would you say we're missing? Would you say we're missing quite a few in that 20,000?
No, but I would tell you one thing it doesn't reflect in that number. See, we take care of the dependents, the veterans' dependents, i.e. widows or widowers, with pension for years and years, and we call DIC after that. So what that number doesn't reflect, we're probably helping still maintaining assistance to about 20,000 probably widows or widowers. So on top of that. you're welcome.
Just a couple quick questions. When you said Alliance, is that where the media company is, the marketing company?
No, that's the name of the company. Yes, ma'am.
And then, are you guys able to tap into media partners to help with, I saw 140,000, but are you able to, with the billboard companies and things, as with the veteran services, as far as getting dollars or getting free advertising for you guys?
We're like with the PSAs and things like that. Yeah, we tap into whatever we can get. They're only required to do so much, and we take advantage of that.
And then the other thing I'll just mention is somebody who deals with, in human resources, emails are great, but a lot of our young people aren't checking their emails regularly, so if you can do text and email, because text I find is a much better way to reach some of our younger population.
Well, and it is, and that's why we'd like the Department of Defense to allow us to get the, give it to the veteran. It's their choice. They can put their private email into their discharge or not. But again, they tried to do this online thing. It was called e-benefits, which is a catastrophe as well. They were going to allow the veteran could go ahead and on his own file a claim. Okay, well, if you don't know what you're doing and you're not trained the 60 or 70 hours that we go to school to be accredited by the state of Ohio as service officers, how are you going to do that? So they left out the biggest part, because what they're going to do, they're going to jam up the system and they'll get it wrong and they'll get turned down. So we told that to the VA, and the VA says, okay. He says, we'll fix it. Okay. About 3 months later, he said, what'd you do? He said, now when that young veteran files a claim, a menu pull-down list comes down and it asks him to pick a POA. Now, for a POA, it's a power of attorney. Now, that's not like your power of attorney for health care or something like that. Power of attorney is just asking one of the national veterans organizations, VFWs, American Legions, and vets, to be your VSO representative in Cleveland at the regional office. That's all it is. So I said, how are they going to know what a POA is? Oh, we fixed that. I said, how'd you fix it? I said, they can watch a video at the end of this deal. I said, you know how many videos they've been watching through their career? They aren't going to watch that video. Trust me, they won't. You're very welcome.
I want to thank you
Yes.
also. I'm really glad to have the VSC when I need to refer people. It gives me a sense of comfort to know that they're going to be taken care of. In terms of what we can do to help to get a little more of the word out, with our reach, what would you like our message to be to people? And, should we share a graphic from your Facebook page, or what's the best way for us?
Yeah, you could do the Facebook. You could also just, I'd like to let them know that we'd like to be known as the one-stop shop for anything veterans. So if they want a GI Bill, they want a home loan, if they want medical care and get enrolled in the VA healthcare system, we do that. I mean, we do financial aid. We've got a lot of people who got in trouble over the years with these check cashing places. We've seen a bunch of that. So what we did, we went out, we have what we call a finance coach. They have an office space in our place. And what we do with them is, if we do financial aid for these individuals, we kind of see nobody's ever taught them anything about how to make a budget or anything like. Then she sets them down and goes through that, and helps sometimes get some of these checks or credit cards forgiven or reduced in amounts, and she's been a great asset for us. We also have from the Cleveland Eastside Vet Center, and those are social workers, LSWs. We have them. We have office space we give them. They come down. They're there Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays as far as counseling our vets. So they don't have to go clear to Cleveland or whatever to get some counseling, or maybe they don't feel comfortable sometimes down at the clinic. Then we have these folks in place. The clinic, our Akron CBOC has gotten so busy they don't have much room for some of their office people. So a couple of people we give them from office space when they need it. We also have their prosthetics department, which didn't have any room down there, so they have office space. So any of the veterans who come in that got prosthetics or need them fixed or need anything, we have that young lady there. She's there 3 days a week. So we try to use that, and of course Freedom Hall, we always have somebody in there using that, and that's free. That's part of the taxpayer deal. We've got Hetty Larum in there. In fact, we got coming up this Thursday night is Veterans of the Year dinner. We just got done assisting with the Summit County Stand Down, which was a very good success again this year. We had about 350 people down there. We provided transportation, provided service officers. And we'd also like to thank the county for, again, this year, assisting as far as funding and on that event as well. They've been really great to the stand down. I've been president, I've been chairman now on the Treasury Department for the last 4 years now for the stand down.
Just last comment, Mr. Chairman, and I know you've been up here a long time, but I just want to thank you for always being so very responsive and just the passion that's in your heart for the work that you do. But my question is actually to Ms. Johnston, perhaps you can answer. So in our United system, if there's a veteran that enters in, is there any way to flag them to make sure that they're connected to Veteran Services?
Yes, in fact, Councilwoman Rogers was kind enough to help orchestrate and facilitate a Unitas presentation down with Mr. Moore and his staff. So actually, Unitas started as a Veterans Services connector. So they are very ingrained in VSE services that are provided.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you again, Mr. Moore.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Mr. Moore? Yes.
Larry, I don't believe I told you about the transportation that you did for the stand down. It was a gentleman who's over Amazon in Ohio. He was there. And he said this is the only county in the state that provides transportation for the men and women needing to come to the stand down. So thank you for that.
I know, and the county was nice enough, too, to give us a warehouse that I think we leased for $1 a year to store all those boots and coats and those kind of things that we give out at that. I mean, in fact, we supply that Summit County stand down and 2 other stand downs in the state out of that building. We do have a concern, though. The building roof is in disrepair, and it's leaking, and it's causing some mold and stuff on some of our stuff. Talk with the county, and the roof's just beyond repair. They patched it enough times. And I'm kind of curious as to whether, as my understanding, there's a lot of vacant buildings around Summit County that the county owns, and possibly maybe looking around to see if we couldn't move that stuff to someplace building a little better shape.
Okay, any other questions? Hearing none. Thank you, Larry.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Okay, next up, internal audit, Lisa Scapura. Lisa, come on up.
Good evening, Lisa Scapura from the Department of Internal Audit. As you can see from our budget, the majority of our budget is salaries and employee benefits, and that's because we are an internal service fund for the county. Our 2024 request includes a salary adjustment for us to hire an auditor 1 in 2024. In 2023, this year in May, we lost one of our senior internal auditors. So we did not hire a senior, but we are moving forward to hire an auditor 1 and then just move up our current auditors into senior positions as we need to. We anticipate providing audit services for the Highway Patrol Retirement Pension Plan, again, for the 11th year in 2024. And lastly, the budget before you has been reviewed and approved by the Summit County Audit Committee meeting on September 16th. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions from members of council? Okay, hearing none. Lisa, great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for all you do. And next up is the clerk of courts, and our clerk of courts, Sandra Kurt, is here to address council. Come on up, Sandra.
Good evening, Council. It's good to see you all. You're not going to find anything too exciting or challenging in my budget, so I hope you weren't waiting for something to really throw you off your rocker for the final presentation of the evening. Basically, we're just continuing on as we have. There's nothing earth-shattering, no major changes in our organization chart, or obviously not in our mission either. As you page through, our narrative is in a different physical form, but still the same content. As you look at our expenditure summary for 2024, our request is just slightly higher than it has been for 23. We have the proposed wage increases that everybody got approved through the bargaining unit. And The only other increase really that you see is under the other expenses, which is towards the bottom of the chart. And that increase is actually the increase in postage rates. So that's going up again next year, so we need to include that. The other change that you see is in professional services, which is a little closer to the top, from $220,000 to $238,000, and that is a 23% increase in FedEx. So most of the communications that we do is through FedEx because it's a lot more reliable, sad to say, than our post office. So that's what we use. And we've had really good service from them. Any questions on the legal budget?
Any members of council have any questions? Gloria?
Yes.
How many employees? Am I not seeing that in these budgets?
That schedule has not come out yet, Ms. Rogers. I'll get it to you.
Thank you.
Yep.
We have about 36 in legal and about 35 in title right now. Sure.
Any other questions? Hearing none, seeing none?
All right.
Thank you.
Oh, well, I was going to move on to the title
Oh,
budget.
you've got title, sorry.
It's all right.
You had your chance.
I know. See what happens? You get an engineer, and she's like, no, let's talk some more numbers. Yeah, so if you look at the title budget, again, there's no significant increases other than what you see in the salary and benefits. The one other change under contract services, where it goes from $29,000 in 2023 to $34,000 in 2024, that is actually a 24% increase in the cleaning contracts for our title offices, the branch offices, and that's because the original contract was before COVID. And so that's got a big jump in there since it's, everything has gone up since COVID, including cleaning. Other than that, no real significant changes. Of course, the last line there that transfers out, that is $1 million from our title fund to the general fund to help out any other entities within our county that need that money. So, any questions?
On the title budget? Okay, hearing none?
All right. Thank you very much for your attention
you,
and for your
Sandra.
public service.
Okay, that concludes our hearings for this evening. Thank you, everybody.